It's called a promo,
Shut
kid,
your
and
mouth,
if you want to
John.
be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it, so go ahead.
You ready? No! I said, are you ready?
That was good. Glad you finally decided to pull that giant stick out of your butt and have some fun for once in your life.
You're uneducated marks! You sit there on your phones tweeting out your opinions like they're worth a damn. Let me explain something to you people. You don't know shit!
And I'd like to think
It's gonna be a long fucking intro. It's gonna be a long opener.
Oh.
The irony in the end of the intro of the show and then starting with this clip. The irony is so clear. And today you're gonna hear opinions that I didn't even know I had until now. Also, what if he had came back to This Fire Burns?
That would have been.
Double pop.
Yeah.
Double pop. They're chanting
Looks
CM
like hell
Punk.
froze over. And when I mean hell froze over, I mean this is me standing in a WWE ring on Monday Night Raw with a live microphone in my hand. I don't mean the fact that apparently a Blackhawks fan is universally loved inside the Predators barn.
That
All right, I'm sorry, I had to. You guys understand that. I gotta be me, right? And
Now watch as
lately,
he proceeds to not
I've been
be him.
feeling a little bit more like myself ever since Saturday, which was a career highlight for me. I've been trying to come up with the words and the language to explain to all of you exactly how I feel. And I've come to two words, and I'm afraid to say them, honestly. And it's not because they're not true. It's because I'm a little bit scared of how true they actually are.
I firmly
And it's a
believe
little
that.
bit corny and it's a little
I
bit cheesy
firmly
and it's
believe
not
he
going to
didn't
sound like
realize it
CM
until
Punk.
now.
But I've changed. And once upon a time, an American dream taught me that as long as you speak from the heart, you cannot go wrong because it is the truth. And this is the truth.
Our truth.
Dusty
I'm
Rhodes.
home. I've come back to this familiar place and I didn't know how I was going to react and I didn't know how it was going to go, but it has made me feel like my old self because this is where I belong. This is home, and I've been gone for 10 years, and over 10 years, you people never forgot me, even when maybe I wanted to forget me. And that's powerful. You are all powerful. A bunch of continents, countless countries, arenas all over the world, the people watching at home, the people in the building never stopped chanting my name.
You guys just had to not stop chanting his name.
It's true.
I see them envious
Oh, there it is.
eyes.
We knew it was coming.
We
knew
did.
it was coming.
I knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
The voiceless found their voice, and I couldn't be more proud of you, and I heard you. And that's why I'm back, because I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys, and I've missed you guys, and I've missed all of this, and I wish I could say I never had to leave. But once upon a time, a wise man told me for me to get everything I need out of this place, I'd have to leave and come back. Hate to say the wise man was right.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm back, to get everything I need out of this place. I'm back for you because you are home. Saturday night was an amazing moment. Monday night is an amazing moment. Try to have the words to explain to you how it feels, but in front of and behind the camera, it's been nothing but love. It's been nothing but hugs. It feels like a family reunion. Everybody back there is happy to see me, and it's all smiles. A few people kissed me on the mouth. It's welcome back, welcome home. We've missed you. We're happy to see you. By the way, how's AJ? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, AJ is fabulous, and she sends her regards.
Let's bring her back. That's not where this is going.
Everybody has welcomed me back with open arms.
Well,
Almost everybody.
certainly, like I said last
Some
week,
people
a
are
moment I
afraid.
didn't expect. I told everybody they were full of shit for even thinking this was
They're afraid of what they
possible.
don't understand, but I understand. Everything I've ever wanted has always been here. The competition here, week in and week out, competes to be the best in the world, but the best in the world has not been here for almost 10 years.
Because he was in Japan.
I understand being afraid. They're afraid that I just set the bar to an unattainable level. They're afraid that the brass ring is in my back pocket and they can't grab it. They're afraid that the
Even
most
though he hasn't actually
dangerous
wrestled
and
yet.
controversial, feared
Yeah.
man in this industry just walked through the front door and there's nothing that they can do about
His
it.
last match was our first episode of this show.
Some people are afraid that
All in.
tomorrow morning when they
We're
wake
all
up, they're
in.
going to have to come to terms with the fact that their best
Also,
efforts
apparently,
at being
our
the best in the world
number one
in
most
this
viewed episode
ring,
still.
on this
We're all in.
microphone,
The pilot.
Is that a bad thing or a good
even
thing?
in commentary, isn't just false, but it's a lie. Because the best in the world is back, and the best in the world is standing in the middle of the ring, live and in living color in Nashville, Tennessee,
in
on a
living color.
Monday night, and his name is...
Ilya Dragunov. Sorry,
That was not Monday. You were on the wrong night, sir.
that's true.
You are on the wrong night.
All right, so
You're allowed to dive into it.
guys, I just want to say before we get into anything, the best return in wrestling history has happened
Agreed.
today.
Oh.
The return of me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I didn't know that's where it was going, but now I agree more.
I am back, and I am back to say that I had some time to think about it. I'm still really scared that he's taking TV time from people who could probably use it more. And I'm still a little ticked off that this happened. But I'm trying to be a little objective here, trying to be a little bit less biased. Keep in mind, I was a huge CM Punk fan for the longest time.
Yeah.
But the things that happened with him in AEW and backstage really soured me on him. And I've been told multiple times by a certain person that that's not his fault, that's Tony Khan's fault. Whether I agree with that or not, I can see the argument, but I'm not fully on board with that yet.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
But I can see the argument. I just hope that he's not here for what I think he is, and to me it sounds like he's here for money. That's why he had a safe promo.
He did say, I'm here to make money.
Literally, and I get it. These people need money to survive, but
Not here
in
to
a
make
business
friends.
like wrestling, you need more than, in my opinion, to be a wrestler, you should be after more than just money.
Oh, of course. The pain is not worth the money. And I think 1,000 wrestlers will tell you that.
Especially when you have so many people in the back that are passionate about this, and they have the passion to go with the need for sustainability.
I think if you're an AEW fan, CM Punk returning is like a wet dream for you because now he can cause drama in their locker room. Which
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be perfectly
surprisingly-
honest. I think it's part of his contract.
Surprisingly, I don't think that either. You would think going out of this, my opinion wouldn't have changed, and I would have stuck on this train that this is a bad move. But honestly, this feels genuine and authentic, and I truly feel like he is at place. He is at home. It makes sense to me now, and I don't know where it's going, and yeah, I definitely need to keep my eyes and ears open because with this man, anything can fucking happen. But it feels right. I'm sorry. It does.
I can get that.
I had no idea until just the other night. I really kept playing it back, and I thought to myself, damn, this actually does make sense. This feels right. AEW, it felt cool. It felt like unreal, but it didn't feel right. And again, I don't know what's going to happen, but
it feels very hypocritical, and yeah.
We got another R-Truth sighting on Raw.
Let's go.
But someone needs to fill me in. I need the younger generation to fill me in here. I don't know who Jelly Roll is. I don't know why his Jelly Roll's
like a rapper, I think. A country rapper.
I was like, I've never heard of it.
I think so.
His jelly was rolling.
I've heard a couple of his songs. It's actually pretty good.
As long as he eats jelly donuts.
But the real thing is the fact that you didn't acknowledge that R-Truth was the best return last week.
Like of all time?
Of that week. I'll even go one step further. Of Survivor Series.
Because like that would be a funny joke, but that would be a lie. That would be a wrong opinion. I want to have some serious journalism. Truth be told, CM Punk returning is the biggest return in WWE history.
You
just wanted the humor. Do you agree with the Creed brothers beating DIY and the New Day and Imperium?
Oh God! See, we were watching that match, and my brother, he was saying, "Oh, DIY's got this."
I was hoping. Yeah, I was rooting for him.
No, they're gonna lose in the first round.
I was rooting.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
But they did lose, and I see it. The Creed brothers are the team that they have. Look at it this way: DIY is this team of two incredibly talented individuals, whose whole story is making a name for themselves by themselves.
Yeah.
The Creed brothers, they obviously have the system behind them. For a while, even Vince McMahon had said, these two are main event talents, WrestleMania main event talents. Whether I agree with that or not, they're definitely talented. I do really like them, but that's another story. The thing is that
they're getting the push.
They're getting the push. That's the whole thing, yeah.
And not only, when I really think about it too, not only are they getting a good push, but the tag champs are the Judgment Day, who are like the number one merch sellers right now. So putting them up against the Judgment Day, you're really showing that you're backing this tag team. And I'm not disagreeing with it. I like the Creed brothers. I wanted DIY to win, of course.
It feels like
they just can't win.
If DIY doesn't ever get an opportunity, if this is like their biggest point, then it feels like a missed opportunity. But if this leads to them, like
Pete Dunne's whole career right now,
I have something to say about that later.
Same.
But if this leads to them actually eventually winning the titles, I mean, I'm all for it. It goes into their story perfectly.
I didn't realize the significance of Cody Rhodes winning the War Games match. I didn't realize that Dusty Rhodes created the match. Yeah. That's why he got the pin. That's why he was so emotional. It didn't make sense to me until you worded it out like that, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's very much why.
And he announces he's the first entrant into the 2024 Rumble that LA Knight is winning.
Only to be attacked by, or called out and attacked by Shinsuke.
Red misted by Shinsuke.
We are fully in agreement that this was not the original plan, right?
I don't think it was, but I'm stamping it. I want it.
I do enjoy it.
And I like red mist. I want red and blue mist mixed together now. I want purple mist. Dude, I just love that we're getting different colored mists. Before it was just green, and I liked green, but now we get blue mist.
Let's go.
That's still my favorite. So I'm glad this is in my notes and your notes this week. My question was, how did we feel about Nia Jax versus Zoe Starks? Which before the show you were talking about people commenting on Zoe Starks not even having a good match with Rhea Ripley, which wrong.
Yeah,
wrong.
I've seen a lot of people say that specifically Natalya. I think it was the actual match they had, because they had 2 squash matches, but the actual match they had was the best match of Rhea's entire reign. I've seen a lot of people say it's the only good match of her entire reign. I have to disagree. The 5-way, really good. Her match with Zoe, pretty good. This
fight
thing
was
with
solid.
Nia, I mean, Zoe was starting to go off, and then Nia did her Nia thing.
Yeah.
Which, I get it, but eventually Zoe needs a better push. Please. Also, I did notice she has a little trouble with that move where she jumps from the turnbuckle to the rope to the outside.
Yeah.
She has a little trouble with that, but the one that she hits from the apron to the turnbuckle, the apron to the top rope, perfect. So, it's not that she can't do it. It's just that there's something about that move that just throws her off.
Maybe the ropes are a bit different on the Raw stage. I don't know. Miz challenges Gunther, but I don't think it's accepted. So there's nothing really to talk about there. I don't think he accepted it ever.
I think they're gonna run it back again.
I hope. Unless you want hope.
I kind of get it. Since the Miz is the caliber that he is,
Right.
it does make sense rather than giving Ciampa a one-off, giving Bronson Reed a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't know how much interest there is for Miz Gunther 2. At least I don't have much interest in it. I feel like the first match was maybe the best they could have gotten out of each other.
I feel like I agree with that. Here's the only difference. If Miz faces Gunther again and loses, then it would make no sense. If he won, then it would make a lot of sense, and that'd be crazy. But also, I feel like we've entered a point now in these 540 days. It's like, well, who do we have left to really face him? Like, who do we want to pitch next? And I feel like maybe that's why they're dragging it out, because they're really trying to plan out, like, okay, who is the next? And who's going to beat him? If Miz doesn't beat him, who does beat him?
I still don't know that yet.
I still think they dropped the ball with Sheamus not winning it at WrestleMania.
There's been a couple of opportunities they've had.
It made sense at that
to give it
juncture.
to anyone else, and at this point, like, unless Dragunov's coming up soon, I don't see it.
I thought McIntyre would win it. There's like a bunch of people that I thought could win it, and again, I'm proud that Gunther's held it this long. It really solidified Gunther in a period where, like, you knew he wasn't going to be a world champion, but he was the caliber to be world champion. So
yes, for sure.
CM Punk chants rained down during Seth Rollins' promo. Rollins calls him a hypocrite who doesn't matter. McIntyre comes out and almost goes face again and tries to get a world title shot. Finds out Jey Uso is getting one next week and goes bananas. That's the whole note. Play by play by yours truly.
I mean, it's accurate.
That was live in the moment. I said, and goes bananas.
Goes bananas.
He tried to pretend to be a babyface again. It didn't work. Fucking McIntyre, man.
I mean, where do we go with McIntyre?
To AEW. Drew Galloway is all elite. No, we know that's not a thing anymore. And honestly, if he was to go anywhere, he should go back to TNA. But
damn.
I think WWE, if I'm not mistaken, WWE did re-sign him. I don't actually have that verified.
I don't know, and I'm not in a position to look right now.
He's in the middle of something very, very tedious. And also, we're in the middle of watching the Full Gear 2020 DVD on a PlayStation 2, mind you.
Let's go.
At no point did Tony Khan know that I was going to be playing this DVD on the PlayStation 2 console.
But here we are.
And here we are. CM Punk is home.
So.
He's home. Welcome home, CM Punk.
Yeah, don't fuck things up.
Do we want to pre-order the merch? Just start getting ahead of myself.
No.
Angel Garza using a banned move. A lot of people are talking about this. I don't take unkindly to it, because I think the sit-out Tiger Driver should be used if used professionally.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, and it was really badass to see. I really like this revitalization that Angel Garza and Humberto are getting.
They were treading fucking deep waters in the main roster and getting nowhere.
Yeah, I think the whole thing was the Los Lotharios gimmick was what really hampered them. Now that they have this, like, more familial... Is familial a word?
No.
Family type gimmick?
Familial. I don't think that is a word.
This family type thing where they're, fighting for their grandfather, I think it's really starting to connect.
They might be fighting for their grandpa, but they're not fighting for the tag titles because they didn't win those.
Yeah.
Kalani Jordan qualifies for Iron Survivor Challenge. That's good.
Who did she face again?
That's my... Kiana James.
Okay, Kiana's pretty good, but she was in it last time, and this is my argument for why some of these choices were made, like Roxanne not winning.
Yeah,
not
which
getting in.
Roxanne interferes. So
she has a chance still with the last chance, but the idea with like some of these people being left out, I like the idea of letting some of these other people give their opportunity, because a lot of the people in those matches last year were standout performances.
Right.
Kiana James, Axiom, these were people that were treading. Now, they're still not doing great right now, but those were standout performances for them at the least.
Yeah, and going back to the women's breakout tournament, like I said, when she lost the finals, I just want to see where Kalani Jordan goes from here, and it's really cool that now I see where she's going from here. So.
Yes.
It didn't take long, thank God. Braun Breaker also qualifies to no surprise, although a lot of us wanted to see Eddie Thorpe win it.
It's really sad, but it feels almost like an outsider story, and I think this goes back to what you said last week. You didn't understand why he keeps getting jumped backstage.
Yeah.
And no friends. He's a lone wolf character.
Right.
And but at the same time, it kind of makes sense because he came from New Japan. And now he's in WWE, and you know how they tend to treat New Japan talent.
Shout out to Kushida.
But he also has that Indian ancestry, and I guess that's kind of leading him to be this lone wolf guy. Also, he's feuding now with that group that includes Damon Kemp. They had a mini feud a couple months ago, so now kind of reigniting that.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to our segment here.
I see what he's got on the screen, and I'm just like...
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Andre Chase, and I'm the founder of Andre Chase University.
I would hope so.
Before I address this situation, I would first like to thank the investigators for their communication, cooperation, and professionalism throughout this investigation.
He went and watched every
I'd also like to
crooked
recognize the
politician
Chase U
speech.
student body, faculty,
First
and
step,
staff for carrying on
thank
with the
the
day-to-day
reporter.
operations and curriculum.
Thank the
Without
investigators.
the support of this Chase U family, I'm not sure I'm standing here right now.
Thank the people.
As you all know, we're at a moment in time that is history-making for NXT. And while I wish that we were gathered here under better circumstances, I would just like to address the news that broke last week about Andre Chase University being under investigation. I want to be as forthcoming and as honest as I can be about this, but please remember, this is an ongoing investigation, so I am limited to what I can share. With that being said, it appears that Andre Chase University has found itself in a difficult situation.
Oh no.
The investigation reveals suspicious and illegal activity, such as gambling and the misuse of university funds, which has landed the university in severe debt. Unfortunately, I stand here today to tell you that this is all true. As the head of Chase U, I take full responsibility for the difficulties that have put the university that I love so much in debt.
Shame on you,
I
Mr.
will work
Chase.
arduously to pay back these
what the
obligations
fuck?
as quickly as possible and restore Chase University to what it is, an institution that shapes young minds and future sports entertainers.
Pro wrestlers.
And that's all I can share on the matter for right now, but I will open the floor to questions.
Mr. Chase, how much
Shadow.
do you owe and who do you owe the money to?
The amount I owe is not important, but it is significant. What is important is paying back as fast as possible to restore university activities. Next question.
Who do you owe the money to? Who do you owe the money to?
Next question. Next question.
Mr. Chase, do you have any idea how your gambling practices will lead to the public?
I have my thoughts and suspicions, but I'm not going to speculate at this time. Next question.
Mr.
Chase, Mr. Chase.
Speaking for the university, is there something you'd like to say to the student body?
If this situation isn't taken care of, everything that we've built at Chase U is in jeopardy.
It's gone.
As for the student body, I want to publicly apologize to each and every one of you because my irresponsibility caused this.
It did.
I will address the students at Chase U at the next
Also, it
assembly.
was kind of a sketchy
No
story.
further questions. Thank you for your time.
What probability are you going to resign, Mr. Chase?
There's not actually a lot to unpack there, but I will say it's all because of the family, basically. That's
Yeah. We know that much, and as we can see the look there, we know who outed him.
Yep. Well, hopefully, at least it's something interesting.
I played the clip because I've never been interested in this storyline, but it is one of the main storylines on the show right now.
It is weird, like, you have all these different title pictures and everything, and this is one of the main storylines. I get that Chase U was a popular act, at least in the NXT universe.
Yeah.
But I don't know where this actually leads, if I'm being honest. Which, I also don't know where Joe Gacy leads either. I have no idea what's going on with it. I love the introspective stuff, because as a poet, it felt kind of deep, the stuff he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But then he went nuts. He mentally, which I get it. He mentally snapped. I just don't know where this goes in a wrestling capacity.
I don't know. I watch Sami Callihan and then I watch Joe Gacy and see, because that's why I rarely, seldomly ever talk about him too, is because a lot of it just feels like the same thing Sami Callihan is doing or has done. And Sami Callihan's been a legend in pro wrestling to a lot of people. Like even Jon Moxley has said he stole a finisher from Sami Callihan at one point. When he was first in FCW, he stole that deadlock DDT.
Oh.
But yeah, so that's why I very seldomly talk about it, because it's not very original from what Sami Callihan's doing in TNA right now.
I guess
It's
it
cool
was
saying
it was
TNA.
fresh to me because I'm not very familiar with Sami Callihan stuff.
Yeah.
But
He does those exact same kinds of like vignettes and stuff, the like one to the camera shots. It's fucking
so,
spot on.
Anything else for NXT?
Dragunov beats the fuck out of Nathan Frazier.
Destroys him.
Not a squash match, but
It's not a
just
squash match.
damn Dragunov.
Like he's pissed off because of what
I hope he beats Corbin up that way.
I hope so too.
I hope he just beats the fuck out of him. And Wes Lee, of course, wins the number one contender Fatal 4-Way, which I don't think anyone was surprised by that.
No, it was a good match.
Yeah.
I want to mention
Ivar showed up.
I do want to mention quickly.
Yeah.
Carmen lost the worst move ever. Okay, get that out of the way. And Tatum Paxley showed up backstage, stalking Fallon Henley and whoever she was talking to. I forget.
Yes.
Yeah. So more Paxley on TV like that. Okay.
I said this
Moving
motherfucker is gonna have a note about. Damn it! I got tongue tied. Who were we just talking about? Carmen Petrovic. Thank you.
Yeah. I had to.
It's like she had a match and he's gonna write a note on it.
Well, it's just if she
Switch
would have lost to a
companies.
better finisher, I wouldn't have said anything about it. But she lost to a terrible slam. It's literally just a slam. Like, who came up with this? This is Santino Marella's daughter. You couldn't, like, I don't know.
I need to add Santino to my list too. That's another story for another day. AEW grosses 67% increase in revenue and projected to meet $170 million gain expectation. That's a lot of people said they were a company that was gonna go fucking bankrupt in 3 years and were doing nothing, and now that they're reporting their earnings,
Nope.
it's because of this damn tournament. Dynamite started off with an interesting matchup: Jay Lethal and Jon Moxley, which Lethal tapped out.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw that coming. We all saw that coming, actually. But it was still a really good match.
I never know with Jay Lethal. I mean, he is a legend, but when's the last time he had something significant win-wise? We got this whole episode, every tournament match with the treat of Bryan Danielson on commentary.
That was really great. I wonder if that's something that they would entertain doing once he retires.
Yeah.
Like having him on commentary more regularly.
He did it in the Cruiserweight Classic tournament when they first brought the Cruiserweight division back.
I didn't know that. I've only seen, I've seen the matches, but on mute because sometimes I got to multitask here.
Yeah.
But that's really cool.
In 2016, when they brought the Cruiserweight division back and did the whole Classic tournament, he was the main commentator of it. He did the interviews too. It was pretty badass.
Bryan Danielson and Kevin Owens in commentary.
He was just trying to he had just gotten retired and was trying to figure out what to do, and he was weightlifting at one point. It was weird seeing Daniel Bryan as a weightlifter. It was
that sounds.
Your thoughts on Sting and Ric Flair's TV time on Dynamite? Just on Dynamite, there's 7 or 8 minutes of Ric Flair rambling.
Yeah. My only note I have here is that he's having fun. I've kind of had to... Ric Flair's a legend, right?
Sure.
And
in wrestling, I'll put it there and that leave it there. In wrestling.
Yeah.
Ramblin' Rick.
I understand what he's done. I just... It's for Sting, mostly.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that's all that really needs to be said here.
I didn't make this comment myself, but I read a comment such as, like, we don't need to hear a 70-year-old senile senior citizen rambling for 8 minutes on TV. It's a little harsh.
We don't, per se.
Per se.
But Sting does. I know it means a lot to Sting.
Yeah.
And to cut him off at any point would show disrespect to not just Ric Flair, but to Sting. So, I get it.
Noted.
But at the same time, like, there's other matches and storylines and stuff we could do with this time.
Bruce beats Briscoe in a hard-hitting bout. Picks up a tournament win. That's a good one.
Scar on his chest.
I mean, nobody is expecting Mark Briscoe to get many wins in this tournament, but it would be nice to see him beat somebody and get like a fucking strange win out of nowhere.
That would be really good, especially with everything he's gone through. I mean, he deserves it.
It would be nice. MJF does what he's great at and sells the pay-per-view match. Gets attacked by the Devil Mask crew and gets saved by Joe.
All right, I'm going to say what we're all thinking here, right? Retribution.
Oh, stop it. I think you're the first person I've even heard say that.
No, I saw a lot of people on Twitter say this is straight up giving me Retribution.
I was like, we're all thinking that you are the first person I've heard bring
so we must follow different Twitter people, because I saw a lot of people say this is Retribution right here. Like,
all my Twitter feed still thinks it's Adam Cole, and I'm about to tell you who I think it is now. My thought obviously has changed, but we get challenged to mystery tag match. What kind of SmackDown versus Raw story mode shit is going on here?
I love it.
Tony's playing Road to the Elite in real life.
I kind of love it, though. I like the idea of, like, not knowing who... What if they don't even know? What if they come up with it, like, the day of?
I mean, I don't know how you're not on this either. Like, a lot of people are on this now, too, as well as me. If you listened to the episode last week, I said it.
Jack Perry?
Yeah, when the devil talked, it sounded just like him.
I've seen a lot of people say that there were some people that were... someone said something about MJF took away the feeling. And then, like, Britt Baker, Sammy Guevara, and I think Jack Perry all liked that tweet. And so everyone's like, oh, these three are in the Devil Mask group.
Britt Baker makes sense. Adam Cole makes sense. Jack Perry doesn't really make that much sense. It sounded just like him.
It does.
I want it to be Adam Cole more than anybody.
I think it's going to be a group of people. I think it's going to be a faction.
Do you think we get the reveal this week, though? I'm skeptical.
I think... I don't know. I think we get two people thrown out there, and the idea is they're associated with, but not the ringleader. Maybe this is where we start revealing members and we start coming up like, oh, it's a
get
faction.
Clues. I'm not against getting clues, but I feel like once you give it away, you give it away. You got to be careful with clues.
I mean, if it is something like a mishmash like that group there, I don't know. A lot of people were saying like the big guy looked like Wardlow. I mean, and did you notice that after that Wardlow came out with his hair messed up?
Yeah, I've seen a comment on that on.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of like hints there.
Yeah,
that could be something, or it could be subversion. I don't know.
When it's Britt Baker, the world is gonna be fucked.
If it's Jack Perry, the world's gonna be fucked up.
They just better have a storyline if it's Jack Perry, because this doesn't make a lick of sense if it is. I was thrilled at the idea of Julia Hart versus Emi Secure for the TBS title, but it ended up not being thrilled with the match. It was weird. It wasn't
that great. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't terrible in my opinion, but it wasn't that good either. It was kind of just there.
This is my advice to Tony Khan, and I don't need to be giving advice to Tony Khan. He's in a better position as a fan and as a businessman than I am. But I don't think you really get somebody over by making them look like a dominant champion and squashing a legend. I think you get them over by making them have a good match with a legend like Emi
That would
Sakura.
make sense. That's why I think WWE is doing this perfectly, where they're letting these people go out and have these matches, with like Gunther, for example.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed, Tommaso Ciampa.
I was going to say Ciampa was the best example with that.
I mean, but think about it. Even Bronson Reed now is in this program with Ivar, and they're getting hella chance. Like, it's crazy.
Fucking Ivar's getting the chance. It sounds crazy when you say it. That's why I had to chuckle a little bit. It's not that it's funny. He deserves it. If you look at his stuff on the independents, Ivar's definitely a deserving competitor. Just weird. I've watched the Viking Raiders for so long now. It feels weird.
Yeah.
Christian apologizes to Edge and fucks up Killswitch's name.
I love that. He's like, Luchasaurus.
Shout out to Toby the Taurus also.
Toby the Taurus.
I want to talk about Christian's road trip of reflection. Like, what happens on a road trip of reflection? What do? You, like, listen to fucking Conway Twitty and drive through the dark? You eat Slim Jims and...
No, you just listen to Kanye West Streetlights over and over and over.
Eats...
Just that specific song over and over and over, and you just
ketchup chips. Canadian ketchup chips. I don't know. It's just... I want to know what happens on a road trip of reflection.
That is a good question.
I really want to see Edge win this TNT title. Sorry, I get these two mixed up so much. The TNT title. And if I already messed that up, please correct me. I get the TBS and TNT titles mixed up so often, but that title looks amazing on Edge. I put it on him in 2K23 on the game just to test it out. It looks great. I want it.
I want Daniel Garcia to win it at the end of next year.
Okay.
By the end of next year.
I am not against a Daniel Garcia push. A bomb main event that has Swerve winning over Jay White. It makes the tournament interesting considering I have Jay White to win it all.
I think Swerve is also high up there on that list.
I think so too. I think Swerve deserves it. And I think a lot of people want to see Swerve win this. But
yes.
I really saw Jay White and Danielson as the final and Jay White going over.
I don't know. Honestly, my brother has the opposite. He has Danielson winning the whole thing.
I would love that. That's what I'm rooting for.
I think that makes sense given the circumstances. It makes the tournament itself kind of less interesting. But you also have all these there hasn't been a single match yet where I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah, every match has been a classic.
And I think that's the main appeal here. And giving Danielson his due.
That's the point. Now, the live crowd got a great Dynamite, but I feel bad for the random Rampage they got. That's what I'm calling it. Random Rampage.
I'm going to call it Trio Page.
Yeah, mainly just a bunch of trios matches crammed onto one
I watched
card.
it this morning, and maybe this is my fault, but I paid attention to nothing, and I don't think I missed anything.
You really didn't? I mean, I hate to say it, but it felt like a chore to watch Rampage. And I hate to say that because, again, AEW is my preference, but this Rampage did not hit. Bunch of trios matches crammed into 1 hour.
Yeah.
And how do we feel about Sting and Ric Flair on Rampage, though? If their 8 minutes on Dynamite weren't enough, how do we feel about the 5 to 6 they took on Rampage?
Dude, I don't know what...
I don't know what's going on, man. At least I got to see Vikingo, but do not mention the botch that he had on that one spot. He hits every spot perfectly. He just trips on the dive outside, and we're not talking about it.
That's fair.
Everybody messes up sometimes.
I think a lot of people get really critical on people who mess up once, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden they're a botch mess.
No, he still hit the 630. He still hit all kinds of shit that I can't even name.
All kinds of shit.
He did. I saw him. Now let's get on over to the Fed again. I kind of felt like going into today, a lot of content would be about WWE. There's just a lot of shit going on over here, and AEW is doing a lot of shit on Dynamite, but on their other shows, kind of lacking. Fucking random Rampage. Is it so hard to call Pete Dunne again? That's the first note I
I
have.
think that's what they should be getting to, but at the same time, I remember him saying something like, "I'm over it, it's just a name," or something like that. But my theory here is that we have this tournament announced, this United States tournament. And you got all these names in it. It looks like a badass field. Whether the matches will live up, we got Lashley versus Cross. I don't know what to expect there. What I expected instead was Lashley versus my pick for the NXT superstar, Tyler Bate. You saw that coming, right?
Big strong boy.
It makes sense. If Bobby and Pete Dunne are feuding, if you had a Bobby versus Tyler, Tyler gets a soft call up, and then Bobby sends the Profits after Bate, but it seems like Pete Dunne's doing something with Pretty Deadly now, maybe. But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that Tyler Bate is still one of that NXT superstar. He comes up, loses his match because of course he does, and then him and Pete Dunne start teaming.
Okay. I was watching the Darby Allin Cody Rhodes build up this whole time during that too. I was like, man, he's laying that theory down.
That's one of my theories. I
mean, it looks like Kevin Owens is gonna be the next U.S. title contender. That's like, it almost feels predictable.
Yeah. See, my thing is, I'm more concerned because whoever wins that is gonna lose to Logan. I'm sorry, they're gonna lose to Logan.
I pray not, but it's more likely than not.
But what I'm more concerned about is that NXT superstar, because I feel like whoever that is might get a soft call up.
Right.
And I saw also earlier today, Axiom retweeted it with an eyes emoji. Remember, he had that match against Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
That is one I would not hate to see. Call up, maybe him and Dragon Lee team up, do some stuff.
I think it would help. It would help out both parties. Who's not being helped? Bailey being edged out of Damage Control.
So sadly, too.
And we get Kairi Sane one-on-one action against Bianca Belair. That was actually a really, really nice treat to have. I enjoyed that match, but I don't enjoy Bailey getting edged out of Damage Control.
See, it's funny because I've seen the people that I've seen talk about that match said, "Oh, this is terrible.
This is terrible.
This is a terrible match. Kairi's terrible."
Did you think it was terrible? I didn't.
I thought it looked off. In my opinion, at least. And a lot of it was Kairi. But I think that owes a lot to Kairi going back to Japan, wrestling in Japan, coming back, and trying to adjust back and forth like that.
And see, I think maybe because it's been so long since I've seen Kairi wrestle in WWE, it just felt nice to see her wrestle in WWE again.
I think that's fair, too. And I also, the criticism that this is her first singles match back, and she ate a loss to what I have seen people dub Super Bianca.
Super Bianca. Is she invisible? Like Super Cena?
Well, that's the idea, though. She's like the Super Cena of the women's division.
She's a 100 overall.
I get it, because they do book her very strong, if you think about it.
Oh, of course.
But it's not quite John Cena levels yet.
Bianca Belair was always going to be like the apple of their eye type shit. And
yeah.
I'm glad she got the push she did. Like, watching her in the Mae Young Classic when she first appeared before she ever got signed to NXT or anything like that, I knew she was going to be in WWE one day. Like, her, Shayna Baszler, and Kairi Sane all had that look already. Like, they're here. Dakota Kai as well, arguably. Dakota Kai looked ready to go.
It's very unfortunate what she's... do you think she'll ever get an actual wrestling push, or do you think she's going to become like a permanent manager type deal?
I don't know the status of where her injury's at right now, so I don't.
Well, I mean, just considering how many injuries she's had.
Yeah. It's hard for the company to push somebody that's had many injuries.
But you look at Tegan Nox, who's had arguably the same amount, and she's getting a decent, at least try here.
Yeah.
So...
I'm glad you worded it that way. At least a decent try. She's getting opportunities, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Orton also went to SmackDown.
I love the idea, if we do end up going back to Survivor Series next year and doing an actual like brand versus brand thing,
I hope.
I love that they're actually trying to make the brands hate each other. At least the general managers.
Yeah, I love the GM heat. I'm loving the SmackDown versus Raw energy. As you know, I've been playing OG SmackDown versus Raw the past 2 days, because shout out to Zach over at Retro Hall, hooking it up with the PlayStation 2 console. You got yourself a PlayStation 3 console.
Yeah, we got big this holiday season.
Retro Hall collectibles and video games. They didn't even pay to sponsor this episode this week. I'm just giving a special shout out to our favorite sponsor, Retro Hall, because they hooked us up this week. I even got Kingdom Hearts for free. I got Hearts for free.
I got Gundam Battle Assault 2 for PS1.
Dude, that's fucking solid.
Anyone that doesn't know, that's a really hard game to get it.
Yeah, that's a pretty penny.
I have a question. What will Heyman do about it? What will Heyman do about the whole... He'll call Roman Reigns. That's what he did, but...
And you gotta be an old school wrestling fan to know this and really appreciate this. I don't think anybody really understands the magnitude of Paul Heyman and that cell phone, because his early start in WCW, he was known as Paulie Dangerously as a manager, and he carried around a big brick cell phone. That was his shtick. That was his gimmick. Yeah. So this cell phone that he's been calling Roman Reigns on for the past 2-3 years hasn't been nothing. It's significant because it's a play on his
it's a subtle historical nod.
Instead of the old 80s brick phone, he has the fucking iPhone 15 and he's still calling people. And so the answer to that question, Paul Heyman has some fucking contacts in that phone that have been there phone to phone. He has a way.
Yep. There were a couple of notes I think I had to throw out here. I don't know if you caught this. They released Mackenzie Mitchell today.
At no point did I know that.
I think it was today, either today or yesterday. They released Mackenzie Mitchell out of nowhere. I mean, she was a really good, was she backstage interview, right?
Backstage correspondent.
Backstage correspondent.
That is the title.
I don't know.
I didn't hear about that. I heard a lot of people in the offices got fired. A lot of suits got fired. They're just laying off a lot of people, and I feel skeptical about it now that I'm really feeling this out and seeing how much creative control they're giving to Triple H and whatnot, who I have a fucking bone to pick with now. Yeah, this is a whole other thing I read in John Moxley's book about Triple H. I'll talk about it in a second. But I really like the direction they're going right now, and I don't know what it looks like in the next year, but I'm a little bit more optimistic about WWE's future.
I feel like there's definitely a change going. There's still things here and there. I do think the fact that CM Punk came back is one of the biggest indicators that Vince has so little control right now.
Which also, again, if you listen to last week's episode, you know Stephanie McMahon was backstage at Survivor Series.
She wasn't just backstage, she was in the crowd.
Wow, that much I didn't know. I thought she was just backstage, talking, politicking. Does CM Punk go to SmackDown too? He's going to be on SmackDown this week.
I don't know. I think you keep him on Raw to keep him on Seth. Raw. Yeah.
Although, from what I've been told, as of Fightful Direct, they have no immediate plans for Rollins versus Punk in the near future.
That's also true. I feel like...
Gonna put him against Drew McIntyre.
When you think about it, you have 2 part-time champions on SmackDown. Your top 2 men's champions are part-timers.
Ouch. That reality just set in.
I knew it as soon as Logan Paul was like, great, now we have 2 champions who don't show up to work. If you think about it, the whole entire male champion roster for SmackDown doesn't show up to work.
Holy shit.
Roman doesn't show up. Logan doesn't show up.
Io Sky is the only real champion on that show.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The tag titles are... Judgment Day is mostly a Raw act, even though they have both titles.
Did you guys know this? This never dawned on me. I mean... Yeah,
it's a heavy thing to swallow when you look at it, the big picture here. That's why I think they spend more time putting, why have The Rock show up? Why have CM Punk and Randy Orton show up?
Yeah.
Because that's what they need. They need the stars there because their stars don't show up.
It's sad. I found out that the thing with The Rock wasn't even really their choice per se. Like, he was just doing something in Boulder the same day and found out SmackDown was up in Denver and texted them and said, I'm coming, and just showed up. Literally, they didn't ask him to show up. He just showed up on his own accord.
So you're telling me the man showed up and he's like,
I want to be on SmackDown tonight.
I want to be on SmackDown, but I don't want to be involved with, what's his name? Romulus Reigns? What's his name?
That's that's not how that went. That's literally his family. There is no bloodline without The Rock.
It doesn't matter.
I hate to be that guy, but like when you're The Rock, you can just do that.
That makes sense. At the same time, it's so funny.
I had a tweet go viral this past week about AJ Styles having one more world title run. Like, a lot of people gravitated to it.
Remember when we thought we were getting Roman versus AJ Styles?
Yeah.
Remember when that was a thing? Now we're not sure what we're getting.
I recently watched back when it was a thing. I watched back to the matches they had years ago. And really, really great matches. I miss that era of Roman Reigns, although I don't prefer that era over this one. But here's the interesting thing I've been thinking about with that. I didn't think AEW having AJ Styles would be a good idea with how much talent they already have, but like the roster matchups would be sick, of course. He has the opportunity to go there and have one more world title run potentially. I could see it happening, and his contract is up in February. So
yeah, there's a lot of contract stuff coming up. I know Mercedes keeps dropping hints and hints and hints, and is she going to AEW? Is she going to...
That one actually throws me for a loop. I could see her going literally anywhere. I could see WWE offering her the amount of money she asked for originally and then some. I don't know.
But what are they going to do for those tag titles?
Dude, it is a clusterfuck. I'm sure you heard me try to figure it out.
Again, I think a lot of people point this out every week. I think the popular tweet I saw this week was, you literally called them up only to have them lose the NXT tag titles and then do nothing with them.
Yeah.
And then the other tag team in that division, you called up and they're in Battle Royals. Which they were still doing... No, they were in the 4-way, weren't they? It was like a 4-way tag match. Which, they were the highlight of that tag match. I'm just saying.
Saying.
Caden Carter and Katana Chance. But, like, you can't even try and give them a title run? I mean, what are Chelsea and Piper doing as tag champions that they can't do? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
I don't fully understand it either, and like I said, you heard me try to. I've yet to figure it out. I'm not actually playing a clip or anything. I'm getting geared up and ready to go for Matchbox here in a minute.
So, going off of that, I think... God, I would love if... I know everyone wants to see her win a women's title and everything, but I would love if Mercedes came back and like her and Bayley had another run with the tag titles. Just to...
The Boss and Hug connection.
Just to build it up again.
Dude.
But that's not going to happen.
No, that certainly is. I'm just going to go ahead and say no, it's not. I'm fucking excited. Now. As you saw, I'm gearing up for Matchbox. We're about to do our paid subscriber episode, Matchbox, and we're going to watch Will Ospreay versus Walter, a.k.a. Gunther, if you're not big enough of a wrestling fan to know that. I literally, if people are casual fans, I got to call them out. This is a Marks podcast.
Dang.
This one is for the Marks, and today was a short episode, but I'm glad we pulled out a couple extra topics to bring up.
Yeah.
Next week is probably going to be a clusterfuck, depending on if we get this reveal or not.
Oh, the devil. I had to think about it, like, what?
The devil!